Fortal alloy, and this end of it here is for the stepper to attach to. You can see it's milled to accept the faceplate of the stepper motor, and then the other end here joins to our rotary table. You'll see there are 4 set screws around the perimeter that hold it on. On the other side here we have a cap head screw that's been shortened way down. If you look down the bore, you'll see it doesn't come into the bore, and that's just to act as a cover, because what we need here is we need an access hole so that we can get to the front screw of the bellows coupling that we're going to be using to transfer the torque from the stepper to the rotary table. The Fortal alloy is kind of neat stuff. You can see, if you look at this here, you can see this is the finish just the way it came off the lathe. It hasn't been dressed at all. This stuff just finishes beautifully. It cuts fast. You see the mill finish on the end here. This is all just done with an end mill. And this is basically just the cut that you get from the tooling. Here's some of the chips. This is just a ribbon. You can see how deep the cut can be made out of this. This is thick cake here. And then we have real thin, this ribbon. You see, this is just kind of using the whole side of the tooling to make the cut. And here's a piece that's like a little spring, and you can see how strong, how much tensile strength this material has. It's almost like pulling a piece of steel apart. It's not like your soft 6061. So let's take a look at this piece. We'll get it mounted up to the rotary table. I'll show you how it goes together, and then we're going to go through making one of these from scratch. This is a phase 2 rotary table here with most of the handle components removed. This is the first one I set up, and I made a couple of mistakes here on this one. It never really worked to my satisfaction, so we're remaking this, and I'm going to explain to you what I did wrong and what I'm going to do differently this time. Originally, there were threads on the end of this, and they held a nut that held the big hand wheel on here. This is part of the original phase 2 handle setup, and what I had done is I took this unit here, I flipped it over, and I added this set screw here, and then I machined the faceplate of a stepper motor so that fit in there. And what that allowed me to do is mount the face of a stepper on there, and then I took the stepper armature and I bored it out, and I added these 2 grub screws on here, and that fit over the end of the shaft, and then the rest of the stepper motor mounted up to it, and you ended up with something that looked roughly like that. And it did work, but there were 2 problems with it. First one is, when you take a stepper motor apart, allegedly it damages the magnets, you lose some magnetic field, and then it never has proper holding torque again, or at least not what it was rated at. And that's something that I want to fix on this build here. The other thing is, when I set up this armature and I drilled this hole, it's a tight fit on the end of this shaft, but it was still not in perfect alignment, and there was a little bit of it kind of strained as it went around. There was no give there because there was no proper mechanical coupling provided. So let's take a look at what we're going to do this time around. This time we're going to use one of these bad boys right here. This is a stainless steel bellows coupling, RW couplings. It's bored 14 millimeters on one side and 12 millimeters on the other side. The 12 millimeter end fits right over our shaft here, and the other end of this meets right up to our Keling stepper motor. Now, obviously we need a piece that makes up this distance in the middle, and that's the custom piece that we're making out of the Fortal alloy. So what we're going to have is we're going to have this shaft, the RW coupling, the Fortal alloy piece that runs over the outside, and then the steppers are going to go at the end. And it'll be something like this and that. And that'll be our drive mechanism. So let's put it together. The first thing that we need to do is we need to remove this screw here. And you'll see it's tiny. See how short it is? And then we're going to mount the bellows coupling to the motor shaft. Then the motor shaft is going to be rotated so that this screw faces up. The adapter gets put on the stepper motor, and this screw should show through this hole. And this hole is for the purpose of tightening this screw here onto the table shaft end. Then these set screws will be tightened up on the collar here. That should hold the whole mess together. Well, I got this thing all wired up and ready for a motor test. I only had one problem. The computer that's in the base of the mill over there decided to give up the go, so I got to investigate that problem and solve it.